middle of a warm summer afternoon, the skies over the small town of Brooks changed dramatically. Around 4:45 p.m. local time, towering cumulonimbus clouds began to accumulate southwest of town. Within less than an hour, a massive hailstorm struck the area, dropping golf ball-sized chunks of ice that crushed vehicles, damaged homes, and injured residents. The day began with a comfortable temperature of around 25 degrees Celsius, 64% relative humidity, and calm southwesterly winds. However, Environment Canada radar began detecting intense convective activity over southern Alberta around 2 p.m. The forming thunderstorm cell indicated the potential for large hail, with temperatures in the upper atmosphere plummeting to minus 20 degrees Celsius, creating ideal conditions for the formation of ice sheets. A hail warning was issued at 3:30 p.m., but many residents were unaware of the impending threat. The initially blue sky turned dark gray, and the wind began to pick up. Lightning flashed in the distance, signaling the onset of the storm. At 4:45 p.m., hail began falling in downtown Brooks. Chunks of ice measuring 4 to 6 centimeters in diameter struck the ground at high speed, making a crashing sound like gunshots. Within 20 minutes, more than 300 reports of damage had been received by emergency services. Cars parked on the street suffered shattered windows and dented bodies. Roofs of older homes were punctured, and windows were shattered. A 9-year-old child suffered a head injury from a chunk of ice while playing in the yard and was rushed to a local hospital. "I've never seen anything like it," said Linda, a Brooks resident whose home was severely damaged. "It felt like the sky was dropping rocks from above. We hid in the basement and could only hear the constant banging." An official report from the city of Brooks stated, more than 500 vehicles were damaged. 120 homes suffered minor to moderate structural damage. 8 people suffered minor injuries, 2 serious injuries. Preliminary damage estimates at 12 million Canadian dollars. The agricultural sector was also hit hard. Harvested potato and tomato fields were destroyed by the ice, causing significant losses for local farmers. A greenhouse on the outskirts of town suffered broken glass and the loss of high-value crops. Firefighters and paramedics were immediately dispatched to the affected areas. Community centers were opened as temporary evacuation sites, providing food and shelter to residents whose homes were damaged. Residents helped clear debris, board up broken windows, and evacuate elderly residents to safety. On social media, the hashtag Brooks Strong became a symbol of community solidarity and resilience. The Premier of Alberta issued an official statement that evening. "We stand with the people of Brooks. The provincial government will provide emergency assistance and recovery support as quickly as possible." According to University of Calgary meteorologist Evan McAllister, large hail occurs when the updrafts within a thunderstorm are very strong, allowing chunks of ice to repeatedly rise and fall within the clouds, building up layers of ice before finally falling to the ground. This storm had an extraordinary updraft, driven by the extreme temperature difference between the surface and the upper atmosphere, he explained. These conditions are rare, but they could become more common due to climate change. Although the storm has passed, its impact is still felt. The residents of Brooks have shown remarkable resilience. Volunteers from neighboring towns have come to help, and local organizations are raising funds for home repairs and medical assistance. "I lost my car and part of my roof, but I haven't lost my spirit," said Jordan, an elementary school teacher. "We will recover together." The city government announced recovery measures: cash assistance for home and vehicle repairs, evaluation of early warning systems and public education, construction of storm-resistant shelters in public facilities, review of natural disaster insurance. Discussions about climate adaptation have also begun, including incentives for hail-resistant construction and improved drainage systems. Amidst the rubble and broken glass, residents gathered at the community center, sharing stories and hopes. One child drew a rainbow on a chalkboard, writing underneath, "We will be okay." Meanwhile, temperatures in central Saskatchewan have reached 28 degrees Celsius, with high humidity and steadily decreasing atmospheric pressure. Environment Canada radar began detecting the formation of a supercell thunderstorm southwest of Saskatoon around 2 p.m. The system developed rapidly, characterized by constant lightning flashes and towering clouds. Environment Canada officially issued a severe thunderstorm and tornado warning at 4:30 p.m., warning residents of the potential for twisters, heavy rain, and dangerous lightning. Amateur video uploaded to YouTube showed the sky ablaze with lightning, creating a stunning and terrifying sight. At approximately 5:20 p.m., an EF2 tornado formed south of Saskatoon and moved northeast at 45 kilometers per hour. Winds gusting up to 180 kilometers per hour destroyed wheat fields, downed power lines, and damaged more than 80 homes in the rural areas of Vanscoy and Clavet. "I saw the sky turn a grayish-green, then a sound like a freight train came from a distance," said Thomas, a local farmer. "We ran to the basement and just prayed." Initial reports from provincial authorities indicated that more than 120 buildings were damaged, including an elementary school in Clavet, whose roof was blown off by the wind. 3 people were reportedly seriously injured by falling debris, while dozens more suffered minor injuries. Power was cut off to more than 15,000 homes for 6 hours, and communications were disrupted by a toppled cell tower. Major highways, including highways 16 and 11, were temporarily closed due to fallen trees and flooding. The Saskatchewan government immediately activated its emergency response protocols. Search and rescue teams, firefighters, and paramedics were deployed to the affected areas. Community centers in Saskatoon and Warman were opened as temporary shelters, providing food, water, and emergency beds. The Premier of Saskatchewan, in a press conference that evening, stated, "We are facing an extraordinary force of nature today. Our priority is the safety of our people and the fastest possible recovery." The agricultural sector suffered significant losses. Harvested wheat, canola, and barley fields were destroyed by wind and rain. Initial estimates put the damage at 25 million Canadian dollars. Farms in surrounding rural areas also reported livestock deaths due to trauma and hypothermia. Environmentally, the storm caused soil erosion and water pollution due to agricultural runoff carried into rivers. Experts warn that storms like this could become more frequent due to global climate change. According to Dr. Leanne McGregor, a meteorologist at the University of Regina, the storm was triggered by a combination of high surface temperatures, extreme humidity, and the convergence of a cold air mass from the north. "This is the perfect recipe for supercell formation," she said. Dr. McGregor also emphasized that climate change has increased the intensity and frequency of storms in the Canadian Prairie region. We need to start thinking about long-term adaptation, not just short-term responses. Despite the disaster, the spirit of Saskatchewan residents remains strong. Neighbors helped each other clear debris, volunteers from various organizations stepped in, and local communities raised funds to help victims.